Since 2009, Southeastern Automotive Group has been buying for and selling to most of the franchise dealerships in the area. What if you were able to bypass the big dealerships with the big markups? Buy direct from the supplier. Save thousands of dollars on your next vehicle purchase. Have a trade-in? No problem. With used vehicles in such high demand, Southeastern Automotive Group has dealers ready to buy your trade. If Southeastern Automotive Group doesn't have the perfect vehicle for you, using their vehicle locator program, they will have it shipped in without any hassle or haggling you hate. With over hundreds of thousands of cars available at auctions across the nation, your next vehicle purchase is just a click away. ESP Specialist in Fabrication is located at 169 Little Phoebe Church Road in Folkestone, Georgia. President Mark Pickering and his employees utilize the latest technology with a skilled workforce to supply customers with the best custom fabrication possible. Serving clients at home and abroad makes ESP a premier employer in Charlton County. For all your specialty and fabrication needs, contact ESP at 912-496-2583 today. They're also on Facebook at ESP Specialist Fabrication. ESP is a proud sponsor of Charlton Sportsnet.
Okefenokee Rural Electric Membership Corporation has been providing quality electric service at a competitive price to residential, commercial, and industrial customers in southeast Georgia and northeast Florida since 1939. For tips and advice on how to save electricity and stretch your energy dollars, call 1-800-262-5131 and speak to your marketing representative. We are a cooperative owned by those we serve.
Hey Indian fans, did you know you're eligible to join the United First Federal Credit Union? We are your hometown financial institution offering services such as online banking, mobile deposit, free checking, and much more. And if you're in the market to purchase a vehicle, our auto loan rates start as low as 2.99 for those who qualify. We are conveniently located at 3773 2nd Street South in Folkestone. Federally insured by NCUA and Equal Housing Lender.
Folkestone Auto Supply, located at 4439 2nd Street North in Folkestone, Georgia, is owned and operated by the Dasher family. They have everything you need, bumper to bumper, for domestic and foreign car parts. Big truck operators, they have you covered as well with belts, seals, hoses, welding supplies, and so much more. They even have lawnmower parts, blades, and accessories. Stop by today and see the whole crew. Miss Joe, Pam, Little Sammy, Stephen, Dylan, and Big Sammy himself. It's Folkestone Auto Supply. Good evening and welcome back to the Coach Mack season finale. Made it to the quarterfinal,
Second round
this year. Great season as always, Coach. Finished 8-4, but had a lot of fun this year.
Really did. It's again, going into the season, we knew that there was going to be some opponents out there that were going to be really tough for us, and then we also knew that there were some games that we had to win that still weren't going to be easy, and really it kind of played out how we thought it was going to play out. The Appleton County game, we knew it was going to be really tough for us to win, and then along with Irwin and Clinch County. Those are our 4 losses to those 3 teams. So everybody else we were able to come up with victories on, and it still wasn't easy because this region of ours is very, very tough region. And of course, us adding Frederica at the front of the schedule made things also very tough. But again, 8 wins in the season, that's not a terrible season. We'd always like to have more. We've come to expect more, but then again, we knew going in that we have last year's defending state champion, last year's state runner-up, all in our region. So to finish third in our region behind those two, isn't really a terrible season.
No, that's nothing to be ashamed of. And you face that juggernaut every year around here. If it's not them, it's us. It's always back and forth with the power in the region and the states down here in South Georgia.
That's right. If you can win this region or even come out of this region, we've come out of it before and top either 2 or 3 and still went deep in the playoffs. So that just goes to show you how difficult this region is.
It is. And for the playoffs for the region, we had 5 teams represented right out of the gate.
5 teams from this region. And of course, the old format would only allow 4 teams to gone out, but we had 5 represent this region, I think this year and maybe last year also. So it's like I said, it's a very difficult region. I know we're going to talk about the all-region, some of the all-region team, and you can just imagine the players in this region, how difficult it is to make the all-region football team. I know we're going to talk about that, and we have a few kids that are representing us on that also.
That's awesome. Let's go back and go over the clinch game, our final game of the season. Big playoff game. It was dubbed Swamp War 2 over there in Homerville. Good crowd. Our fans showed up big.
I think it was a great crowd. It was a great atmosphere. Of course, Clinch County puts on a great atmosphere with the fireworks and the fire engines and all that kind of stuff. It's always a great atmosphere over there to play. And I thought our kids, the first time we played them, I thought the game got out of hand really quick, but I felt like our kids played hard for the most part the entire game. This time, we were determined to try to raise our play, to play even harder, and I think our kids did. I really do. Clinch County is just a much better football team than us. You look at it in their sophomore class, they have 2 Division I players. I think from sophomores, juniors, all the way up to seniors, they have Division I guys, and really on our roster, we only have 1 guy that's a Division I football player. I thought our guys played well, and in the game, if you were to look at that football game and just take out some big plays that they had, of course, they count, big plays count,
They count.
But if we could have took out a couple of those big plays, I thought that, I think it's a completely different game, but that's part of it. You can't just pick out plays you don't want to count, but of course,
you could do that with those turnovers too. They put the ball on the ground 4 times. We got 1.
That's right. They did put the ball on the ground. We were unlucky as far as getting those, and then of course later on in the game we're pressing a little bit and threw a couple of interceptions. But I thought our kids played really hard. I thought our level of intensity stayed up the entire game. Halftime, I thought halftime was productive. Our kids weren't down. They were excited to get back on the field and keep playing, and that made me feel good that we've come along far enough as a football team to where we're just not going to quit or give up. Right. We're going to keep playing the game, and I was proud of our guys for that.
Yeah, they definitely did that. Even late in the fourth quarter, still driving, still plugging. The guys fighting hard, and Michael Elliott breaking that big one to score. I think it was 60-something yards.
Yeah, Michael Elliott at the end of the year really turned it on at the running back position, and he ran the ball hard along with Tony Cobb and along with Raquan Anderson, and those guys really, the offensive line did a much better job, we thought, and of course, we were able to get some running. I forgot to bring those stats. I got the year-end stats, but I know our stats as far as rushing and passing was really pretty decent. It's just that we couldn't stop their rushing attack. That was the only thing. They're a tremendous rushing football team.
I was going to bring that up for you real quick, Coach. On the stats from this past Friday night. Give me just a second here. That's what I love about technology. I usually have them loaded here on the show. There you go, Coach. Here's the stats from Friday night.
We were able to run for 193 yards and a touchdown, and pass for 98 yards. The only problem is, you look at the stats, we gave up 300 yards rushing, and that's where the problem lies when you're playing Clinch County, is simply trying to slow that rushing attack down. They hang their hat on it. They're great at it. They're very well coached at it. First down wise, we were able to. They had 15, we had 12, so there was a lot of first downs in that game. We weren't shut down by no means. It's just that we couldn't stop their rushing attack.
Yeah, I know. Well, early in the game, you talk about the intensity and all. They had a first down and goal at I think the 1 or the 2 yard line, they leave out of there with a field goal. I thought that was, I said it during the game, I thought that was a moral victory for our defense.
Oh, that was huge. And the last couple of weeks we've been able to play some really good goal line defense. And for you to stop a team like Clinch County, who has a goal line offense basically up and down the field, that's what they do. I was really proud of our guys, especially our D-line, for coming up big and stopping that series on the goal line and making himself for a field goal. And they have a great field goal kicker. He's almost automatic. But really proud of our guys, the way they played, the intensity, and really pleased with the support we got as far as the fans showing up and people pulling for the kids and the parents for the kids. And after the game, we had some heartbroken players and heartbroken parents, but like I talked to the kids at the beginning of the year, make sure when that time comes, whenever that time does come, and it will, the end of this season, you've gotten everything out of this season that you wanted to get. And that's why I kept stressing to our seniors. And so looking back, hopefully they were able to accomplish the things they wanted to accomplish during the season.
I know you made a post over the weekend on Facebook addressing the seniors and their mentality. Once it's over, it's done. Could you speak to that? Right
Well,
now?
it's just, the game of football is so unlike any other game. With baseball, you can continue to play softball. You can even continue to play baseball in some form for a long, long time, most of the rest of your life. The same thing with basketball. You can always go pick up a basketball and shoot that three-pointer to win the game by yourself or with others. I'll always see a bunch of older guys down here in this gym playing basketball on Sunday nights, sure reliving their glory days when they were basketball players and so forth. Golf, tennis, all those sports you can play for the rest of your life. But the game of football, once you take one of these helmets off, you don't put it back on. You just don't play it anymore. The closest you get is maybe throwing a football around in the yard, but that's so small part of this game. The physical contact, the camaraderie, the our 11 versus your 11 on any given down. 4th and 1, that 4th and 1 mentality where we got to make a play now to win the game. And once it's over, it's over. You don't get to revisit it. There's a small percentage that'll get a chance to go on and play college football. Our seniors this year, Raekwon, he's been offered by University of North Carolina. Hopefully that's going to work out for him and get to play on there. And a year ago, AJ went to Lenore Ryan, and he was the only one that went and stayed. And this year, with Raekwon, and then we may have Daniel Mack may have an opportunity, but again, that's 1 or 2 out of 20 seniors. And so it's a very, very small number. There's, when that's the thing about it is when this time of the year, it's really kind of sad that everybody loves the weather change and hey, it's football weather and the playoff games and things like that. But the thing I don't like about it is that the fact that you are at the end no matter what. Even if you go on for several more weeks here, a few more weeks here, it's still close to the end. It's going to be time to put everything up. And as you can see in the locker room, we've already started putting things up and putting things away. And it's not a happy time of the year for football coaches and senior football players.
Well, those senior football players, I know the rec department can always use some good coaches. Those guys can step right up and relive it through the young ones coming up.
Well, they can, and people like LT and Glover and Chris Glover and those guys, they're doing a great job with a smaller group of kids, and they've been through this program. They know what it's all about, and I'm really happy to see some of the things that they're doing out there. And one day, believe it or not, and you mentioned as a parent, I've had other parents mention, he goes, really the most fun I've had supporting my son in athletics has been in football. Because, it's the build-up. It's waking up Friday morning knowing it's game day. It's unlike any day for the rest of the week, rest of the year is Friday game day. Even as a parent, when you get up and, your son's grouchy because it's game day, you're grouchy because it's game day, everybody's in a hurry to get things done, and it all comes to a head out here on the football field. And, hopefully if you win, it's a great weekend. If you lose, it's not a great weekend. So
we've been through it all.
Yeah, I've been through it, and I've been through it a lot of years as I was never a my daughters, of course, didn't play football, but I mean, yeah, all these players that I've gotten to coach over the last about 30 years here, it's really, you become so attached to them, so close to them, working with them so much, and you get to know their parents, and you really get to know the kid. You get to know what he's good at, not good at, what he likes and don't like, and his personality and everything. And then when it's over on that field the last night, it's really tough to walk off that field and realize when you put that helmet up in these lockers, that's the last time you're going to put them on. That's it. You don't get to put them on no more. It's over.
I know that one of the coolest moments, I've mentioned it to you a few times, I think off the air, I don't think I've ever mentioned it to you on there, but you say Darby wasn't a football player, but she was a cheerleader. And one of the coolest moments to me as a father, daughter, you know, because I've had 3 daughters myself, and or have 3 daughters myself, was that moment you and Darby had in the Dome, state championship game, right there on the Jumbotron, the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
That was an awesome moment.
Yeah. A lot of people probably wondered what was the head football coach doing hugging a cheerleader before the game. But anyway, no, that year was special. 2013, that group of kids, I knew those kids all the way from Miss Marsh's pre-K all the way through. And the same thing with this year with Hagan, my daughter being a senior. And these guys, I remember these guys all the way back through, you know, kindergarten all the way through. And, you know, in my mind, I kept thinking, boy, wouldn't it be great to finish out this year again in the Dome like we did with those, you know, kids in 2013, because you get to know all these kids, but really when your child's in a class, you get to know that class even better than any other classes, because I can remember, you know, Blake Taylor doing the worm, you know, in a Christmas party and you know, in kindergarten or whatever and everything. And so, you know, seeing guys like that, just, you know, from there to now they're young men and they're getting ready to move on and make that big decision. What do I do next? And what I decide to do next is going to have to last me an awful long time. I'm going to have to make a good decision, and hopefully I'm prepared. And I told these seniors, you know, every year I always write these seniors a letter I hope they keep, you know, forever. They can always look back to it, talking about the things that we've learned throughout our time with Charlton County football, the things that we accomplished, the sacrifices that we made in order to be part of a team. Hopefully those types of memories and lessons will carry them on in the future if they have tough times, or if they're ever in a situation where they have to step up and lead. They'll know they can because they've already done it one other time.
That's awesome, Coach, and we appreciate everything you've done. I know, obviously, I appreciate everything you've done with AJ over the last 4 or 5, well, since he was in middle school, really. Let's hit on, what do you want to hit on? You want to hit on our stat leaders? And
well,
the
you know,
cast?
yeah, the end of the year stats are really interesting to look at, and I really like to look at numbers, and the numbers can tell you a lot about how things went. You know, rushing the football, our top 2 rushers, of course, are seniors. They're graduating. But Raquan Anderson, just to talk about the kind of athlete he was, you know, Raquan finished the year with 1,064 yards rushing, 15 touchdowns, and that's an average of 8 yards a carry. And then throwing the football for Raquan, he finished the year with 1,283 yards passing. So, you know, over 3,000 yards total offense for him, that one player, senior, is really incredible. So you look at our rushing, you know, Michael Elliott really had a good year. His per carry, he had 9 touchdowns, 693 yards, and he averaged 7 yards a carry. So,
that's a good
yeah, those 2 guys right there, you know, was a huge hunk. That's over 1,700 yards of our 2,500 yards of total rushing offense is graduating. And passing, you know, with Keyshawn Williamson went in and threw the ball 17 times for 6 completions. But again, 1,283 yards for Raquan throwing the football. That's a total of our total of 1,300 yards. And again, then you look at our receiving. Our number 1 receiver's coming back, Saquon Clark. But then after that, next 3 are seniors.
That's right.
He is coming back. Brantley Sloan had another great year. 24 catches, 413 yards, 4 touchdowns. As far as that. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, our top 7 tacklers are seniors. So a big hunk of our defense is leaving. to kind of, Daniel Mack finished the year with our leading tackler at 70 tackles. Michael Elliott, 63. Quentin Kinney, 62 tackles. And then what was really amazing is Daniel Mack had 12 and a half quarterback sacks, which is really fantastic for him. So all those guys are seniors. On the offensive side of the ball, what we have coming back is our two guards, Grayson Carter and Khalil Burrows, and Saquon Clark, one wide receiver. That's what we got coming back as far as starters. Of course, Tony Cobb had a lot of carries this year, but that's what's coming back as far as starters. On the defensive side of the ball, Preston Lynch, who played a lot on the defensive line, is the only defensive lineman coming back in the entire group. Linebackers, I believe all of our linebackers are gone, with the exception of Randy Nelson, who he'll be back. So that's one starter, and then the secondary, Saquon Clark started half the time back there. So really, as far as a 12-game starter, I think Randy Nelson might have been maybe the only 12-game starter returning for the defensive side of the ball. And then also you look at our punters gone, our kickers gone, our kick returners gone, punt returners gone.
What are you trying to say, Coach?
Well, what I'm trying to say is we got a lot of opportunity for other kids now. And that's why I try to tell these younger kids is be ready, because it's going to be here before you know it. We got spring ball come the 1st of May, and then we're going over to Camden again and scrimmage them. And we got to put 11 starters out there on offense, defense, and all the special teams. And,
it's all wide open.
It's wide open. So, the message goes all the way down to our current 8th graders. There are positions open on the Charlton County football team to be had. And the first thing you need to do is get in the weight room. You need to get in the weight room. You need to play other sports. I'm the guy that says, I'm one of those coaches that I want my kids to play 3 sports in a year. I want them to play basketball and wrestle in the wintertime, and in the springtime, I want them to run track or play baseball, or even tennis is a great sport for them.
Tennis is great on the footwork.
It's great from the waist down. From the waist down, tennis is the same as football. You have to have a great balanced stance and a change of direction. So from the waist down, tennis is the same thing as football. So it's a great sport for any of your football players. Brantley Sloan, he played tennis all 4 years, and it really helped him. So hopefully our guys are going to get right on either the basketball courts or the wrestling mats from here. But again, be in the weight room, starting to get your body strengthened up, and knock on wood, we didn't have a lot of serious injuries. We had 0 shoulder injuries this year, which I believe I credit that to the weight room, the things we do. We do a lot of injury prevention exercises, because a player doesn't sign for football to stay on the sidelines and be hurt. He signs up to play. So we do a lot of injury prevention. Only had 1 knee surgery this year, which that player, that was a kind of an already pre-existing problem, and he really didn't have as good a weightlifting sessions as he should have. So, but really, the injuries, I thought we were in terrific shape. I credit that to what we do in the weight room. But right now, these kids need to get themselves in the weight room. They need to really push and compete in there. They need to compete on the wrestling mats and compete on the basketball floor. And then come spring, compete on the baseball diamond, compete on the track or on the tennis courts. And then we'll go right from there in the spring. Our best football players have always played more than one sport. I've never even had really a good football player that just played football. I don't want that guy. I want the guys that are competing in other sports, helping other Charlton County programs be successful. So that's the guys I look for, and I look forward to getting over here at the gym and having popcorn and soda and watching our football players play basketball. Yeah. And same thing with wrestling and so forth. So again, we move on to the next thing, and that's weight room and winter sports.
And if there's ever an incentive for underclassmen is to watch that graduating class ahead of you, 16 starters, 20 seniors total, opens up a whole field. I mean, it's available.
It really does. I mean, it's wide open, and I don't know if they really understand what I'm saying. But next Monday we'll meet with the returning players, and then this year I'll get out to the middle school and meet the 8th graders, and I'll give him that starting lineup I give you every Friday night. Yep. There's going to be a bunch of blank spots on it, And it's going to be a lot of blank spots that need to be filled in. They simply need to be filled in, and it's not up to the coaches to do it. It's up to the players to do the work, make the sacrifice, and do what it takes to get your name on that list in one of those positions.
And those juniors can't just assume that it's theirs, because there's some fantastic ninth graders coming up.
Yeah, and that's a big thing I don't believe in. Just because you're a senior, if you're a senior, I expect you to be on that sheet. I really do. But it's not going to be at all given to you. We go with the guys that gives us the best chance to be successful on Friday night.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You ready to hit the region, our representatives for the Region 2 team?
Yeah, we're going to just mention our representatives because we have two teams, Clinch County, Irwin County. They're still playing. And, you know, hopefully they're going to be playing for a while. And we don't really want to bring up, you don't want to bring up their players because this will be out soon enough. But really, I just want to mention our guys and how they did. Again, this is an extremely, extremely tough region. If you make first team in this region, that is a big deal. You make second team on this region, it's a big deal. We have honorable mention kids that got votes that just couldn't make one of those two teams. If you're an honorable mention on this team, that means you did something this year. But there is a region player of the year, the overall region player of the year. There's two of them, one from another school, and also Raekwon Anderson. Was also named Region Player of the Year. Both these, him and the other player, was unanimous decisions. And once you make Player of the Year, you're taking off everything else. You don't get any of the other stuff. But Raekwon, without a doubt, Player of the Year with over 3,000 yards total offense for us, and also helped us on special teams and on defense, and was without a doubt a team leader. Without a question, a team leader, not only here on the field, but in the school also a team leader. Now, with me saying that there's another player, a lot of people are going to wonder who that is, because if you start looking at all the great players that Clinch had, Irwin had, it could be one of a half a dozen other guys also have gotten this, and you can probably figure it out within 2 or 3, but you can't.
Still be off.
You still be off because again, there's a lot of great players in this region.
I could think of 3 or 4 right off the bat, and I think I'd still be.
Exactly. And on the first team offense, we had 3 guys make first team offense, 2 of them wide receivers. We throw the ball more than anybody in our region by far. We are a very, very multiple football team. We call ourselves an opportunistic football team, to where we're going to take what's available. We have 2 receivers. Brantley Sloan made first team all region, which I think he did a year ago also, and Saquon Clark, first team all region wide receiver. Both those guys very, very deserving. On the offensive line, we had 1 offensive lineman make first team. I thought we had a chance for 2, but really happy that Grayson Carter, he's a junior, made first team all region offensive line.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, with the offensive line that Irwin County had, Clinch County had, and even Telfair had, I was really surprised we were able to get anybody on there. But a lot of other coaches agreed with me in that they thought Grayson Carter was a great player, and he needed to be on first team all region offensive line. Defensively, we had 3 guys make it, and that's about probably where it should have been. Lance Carter made it again on the defensive line, another great year, and also Daniel Mack was really kind of a no question on the defensive line with 12.5 sacks and 70 tackles. So both of them, Daniel Mack and Lance Carter, no relation to Grayson Carter, made first team all region on defense, along with Michael Elliott, linebacker. Michael Elliott made a lot of great plays at linebacker, playing a lot of different positions. You'd see him in the middle, outside, and hopefully colleges are going to take a look at him. I think when they do, they're going to look at him more of a strong safety guy. But again, Michael Elliott, first team all-region linebacker, and that's great for him. All-region freshman team, we had Keith Harris, number 38. Keith actually started a couple games at wide receiver for us. He may have as good a hands as anybody on our football team. In practice, he'll really kind of wow you with his ability to catch the football. No question he'll be a starting wide receiver next year, maybe play some defense. But Keith Harris was made the all-freshman team. for us. All academic team, a team that I'm very, very proud of for our kids. And these are for juniors and seniors. Guys that for us, it's really a 3.6 GPA and up. And Brantley Sloan, Travis Ray, Sharik Vernon, Bryce Manning, Tommy Layden, Blake Taylor, and Grayson Carter. Those guys right there made all-region academic teams. So very, very proud of those guys. Not only are they able to get it done on the field, but they get it done in the classroom. Second team all-region offense. We had two guys. Michael Elliott made second team running back, which is really, really good. And then also on the offensive line, Khalil Burrows is a sophomore. I felt like the only thing that might have kept him off in some of the coaches' mind was that he was a sophomore. Sometimes when you get all your region coaches together, they start looking at it on the board, and yeah, they kind of start saying, well, if a senior and a sophomore are equal, you know, let's go with the senior because this is the last chance to be recognized. So, but really proud of Khalil Burrows, and I think Khalil Burrows has a chance to be maybe one of those guys that play at the next level at offensive line. I really believe that he's really a great kid, great kid. And, you know, Tion Burrows and Adam Davis's little brother, and you know, and also just real quick, Tion Burrows made first team all conference.
Yes, he did.
At Reinhardt University, and they're in the playoffs, I believe.
Yeah, they got eliminated last week.
Okay, but Tion, just a fantastic college football player, and that's his older brother. And then also second team long snapper. You know, people might look at that and kind of giggle thinking long snapper, but if you don't have one, you wish you did. I mean, you would, but no, we go ahead and we rank the punters, the kickers, the long snappers, everybody, and we have a sophomore in Braden Wittenberg, who's, if you watched our games, you probably didn't notice him because every snap was right there. I really pushed for him to be first team, but there was a couple other guys that are really good also, but they weren't better than Braden, and I'm really glad that we got him coming back. That's one position we don't have to worry about for the next 2 years is the long snapper. And he was second team all-region long snapper. We had nobody make second team on defense. Defensively, we you know, I didn't have a great year, but honorable mention, you can see we got a boatload of honorable mention kids. And really, to explain to you what honorable mention in our region means, it simply means your coach nominated you. An example would be Tony Cobb, who played a lot of running back for us. I nominated Tony Cobb, and then he would get voted on by the rest of the coaches. And if they saw enough of him, he would get votes. If not, he wouldn't. But Tony's a sophomore. He's a good football player. I think Tony, if Tony will do the things he needs to do in the classroom and in the weight room, Tony's a kid who could also be a college football player, I think. And we have a lot of guys that made honorable mention, and it's an honor. It's very much an honor to make honorable mention in this region. And it simply means that if you made honorable mention, you were nominated. You were nominated, you had a chance to get first team, but the other coaches had to vote with you. And if not, you slid on down to honorable mention. Still, it's an honor to be an honorable mention.
Yeah, in this region, anybody that even remotely follows Region 2, to even get mentioned, this region is so low, so top-heavy too, with us, Earl and Clinch, and even Telfair.
Yep.
I mean, you can't count any of those guys out, so congratulations to all of those guys. I want to go back to your long snapper real quick. People, like you said, people really don't notice the long snapper unless somebody messes up. Brent Wiles, at long snapper, actually got looked at by NFL. I think he went to an NFL camp, right?
He got looked at. He got evaluated by the NFL, but he was, 3 or 4 year starter at Valdosta State. Got his education by doing nothing but long snapping. And it's a very, very important part of the game.
Yeah.
And, you know, we talk about blocking a punt. Blocking a punt could be one of the biggest momentum changers in the game. And really, the only way you're going to get, I mean, there's different ways to block a punt, but if you got a great snap, it is so hard to block a punt. We didn't have any blocks this year. Our protection wasn't the best, but the reason we didn't have any blocks was, number one, is Braden, Wittenberg by having the great snaps, and number two, Raekwon getting the ball off quick. But you look at our PAT, the job that Brantley Sloan did on PATs was fantastic. Now, a little bit unorthodox. People ain't used to seeing the straight-on kicker, and it does take a little bit more time. But what enabled us to get away with that was a great snap from Braden, and the snap was there every time, and Saquon Clark did a great job getting the ball down, which enabled us to make nearly every one of our extra points this year.
Well, congratulations to all those Region 2 guys. If you don't mind, I'm going to grab that list from you before
Sure.
we leave, and I'm going to put it up on the website.
Sure.
Website this evening. Well, about to close out the show, Coach, but this spring, we're going back to Camden, right?
That's right.
Is that what you said?
Spring scrimmage back over to Camden. It'll be a very tough deal for us because, like I said, we're going to have really one full-time starter coming back on defense, and with two more guys getting a lot of playing time. So right there, we're going to need a lot of people to step up and play some defense. And on the offensive side of the ball, we need 3 offensive linemen. We need a center, the most important offensive lineman. We need a quarterback. Raekwon took nearly every snap this year and on varsity, and we're going to need a quarterback to step up. And it could be any one of a number of guys that have a chance to compete for that. And and then running backs, wide receivers, the whole bit. I mean, it's just, and again, during the off season as coaches, what we'll do is we'll spend a lot of time during the off season trying to evaluate the kids we have coming back, and that evaluation really starts in the weight room next Monday. We're going to try to have some good workouts between Monday and Christmas break, about 3 or 4 weeks right there, and really get after it. And then when we get back from Christmas, we start our winter program to where then it's really into it, really hard into strength training, putting a lot of weight on the bar, trying to get their bodies a little thicker and get them a little heavier. And the evaluation really, truly begins in there. If you can withstand the winter workouts and you can really come in every day and compete and have some mental toughness, then we know that you have a shot to be one of our starters. Now, if the winter workouts get you and you can't really compete in there, then we pretty much know you're not going to be very competitive on the football field also, So our evaluations start in the weight room. That's how important it is, getting in the weight room. So we'll find out there, and we'll even schematically, we'll be looking at different styles of offense, what would fit our kids. Yeah. We're not the kind of coaching staff that's going to sit here and say, we will run this offense.
The kids fit.
Yeah, the kids have to adjust to it. We believe schematically you've got to adjust your offense to what the kids do well. Now, if you got a kid, and we've proven that in the past with, guys that can really throw the ball, we'll throw it every play if we have to. If that's what it takes to win, that's what we'll do. And we've also had seasons we ran the ball every play. We've been in the wishbone. We've been in what's called the Maryland eye, the stack eye, and ran the ball every single play because that's what we did well. So we're going to figure out the things that gives us the best opportunity to be successful, and we'll work towards that on both sides of the football.
So not only the positions are open for grabs, so's the offense.
It's
the scheme.
Again, we're going to look for our best players, our most committed players, and the ones that give us the best chance to be successful on Friday nights. And we'll adjust for them. We'll adjust to, like I said, if we got a bunch of running backs, we'll use them. If we got receivers and a throwing quarterback, we'll use them. We're going to do what it takes to be successful. And we like winning more than we like a particular offense or defense or anything like that. That's why you've seen us play for state championships in the wishbone, the no back, the eye, one back spread. All sorts of different styles of offense, and defensively even more than that. We've done everything you can do defensively to give ourselves an advantage, and we'll continue to do that.
All right, Coach. I want to thank you for another great season as
well.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it. This is our 7th season, I believe. Yeah, 2011, 7th season doing the Coach Mack Show, and I always enjoy it.
I appreciate you because a lot of schools don't get the opportunity to talk about their players, and that's what it's all about. It's all about the players. At the end of the day, it's just about these kids. And this is just another way for us to get their names out, to talk about them, to talk good stuff about them. And I know it wouldn't be, I know it wouldn't happen without you, and I know it wouldn't happen without these sponsors. And I really appreciate these sponsors, and hopefully everybody takes notice of that, and hopefully we can get right back and do it again next year.
All right, Coach. We'll see you in the spring. Happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas.
Yeah, thank you. Take care.
All right, we'll see you, Coach. Thank you for watching the Coach Mack Show. Y'all have a great holiday, everybody.